So here's my list of 14 facts. I did a deep analysis on this strong mayor ballot question. And so, question 2A, the proposed Mein Führer tyranny. This is what I found out. So, some things are small, some things are bigger, so just bear with me. I'm going to just go through this list. So, the Department of Aviation will be governed by ordinance now instead of resolution. What is that? Shit. So that's different, right? I guess that was a huge problem. The aviation department was just being governed by resolution. They're like, that's not really, don't have the full force of law. Resolution's more like an opinion, so, why don't we go ahead and fix that? That sounds like a little bit of house cleaning to me. Alright. So, I found a loophole to the term limits for the strange mayor. So, the mayors, they never have to serve consecutive terms, which means they can serve non-consecutive terms. So the ballot language says after having served 2 consecutive terms, the incumbent mayor shall be ineligible to hold office thereafter. After having served 2 consecutive terms. So if you have 2 non-consecutive terms, that's 2 terms, and you should be limited with just 2 terms. But since it says consecutive, then that means every other year the person become mayor. You can have 2 people that just every other year go back and forth, and they just, they alternate the mayoral terms until they die off. So they could be mayor for life as long as they do it every other 4 years. So they can have unlimited amount of non-consecutive terms. Nick Gardasar, he never even considered instant runoff voting. Instant runoff voting protects independence. The 2-party system absolutely hates instant runoff voting for that reason. But that's the thing, is instant runoff voting guarantees a fair election. You want to have this mayoral election, but you're not going to guarantee that it's going to be a fair election? What the fuck is that shit? They're having one little tiny runoff election, which is a step in the right direction. But it's, they're changing everything. Fuck. They're changing all. Okay, anyways, many extra clauses were added, reasserting we must abide to the state and federal government constitutions. It's almost as if they're begging to lose our constitutional home rule standing. Strange mayor sliding towards being a stupid administrative unit of the state like the county is, instead of being our strong home rule autonomous independent selves. So Department of Aviation governed by ordinance now instead of resolution. There's a loophole to the term limits for the strange mayor. And you can have unlimited amount of non-consecutive terms if you're the mayor, so there actually is no cap on the maximum amount. It can be unlimited. Instant runoff voting, a far better voting system for a presidential winner-take-all presidential voting electoral system. And he only does one vote, one little runoff election, which is actually going to be a separate election. Instant runoff is just one where you rank the candidates and then use an algorithm where you redistribute the last place. The candidate with the lowest votes redistribute their votes to their second place candidates, and then see if there's a majority, and then rinse and repeat. Do the exact same thing. If there's not a majority winner, then get the next last place winner, redistribute their votes until eventually you have a majority winner. That is the fairest way to do it. That is the fairest way to do it. By choosing the top 2, you're essentially saying you're just going to choose the top Republican and the top Democrat. So, yeah, we need to encourage independence, stop with the third-party racism. Okay, so Pueblo City won't have an independent judiciary. So that pisses me off, them not having an instant runoff voting. Them not having an independent judiciary pisses me off, too, on a strong executive, legislative, and judicial branch, but it seems to me it's just strong executive, weak legislative, and weak judicial. So they make a change in section 5.1. They say each municipal judge shall be appointed by the mayor for a term of 2 years and may be removed by the mayor for cause. They can actually they can hire as many judges as they want to. If they wanted 50 fucking judges, they could do that. They have to get confirmation. That's the only thing. The city council, they don't have the budget, they don't hire or fire, but they confirm. So the mayor says, here's the budget, they confirm. The mayor says, this is the director of aviation, they confirm. So they have to at least, there's 2 yeses, right? You need the executive yes and the legislative yes. Could be a constitutional crisis if they just stall, if they just say, no, I'm not going to confirm. So then who's going to be the director of the Department of Aviation if City Council doesn't confirm them? So that's by changing that. It used to be City Council. City Council would appoint the municipal judges, and City Council would fire the municipal judges. So to get City Council to get the legislature, it's a little bit more cumbersome, but that's sort of the point. So it's a check, but it's not like an instantaneous check. Like the mayor could just say you're fired right then and there to any fucking judge, unceremoniously, not elected, no 30-day notice, just you've ruled against me. So he could be right there in fucking court, rule against me, you're fired. So fuck you, the judicial branch. The judicial branch must bow down to the executive branch. That is what the brand new city charter is, 2017. It's a new charter. It's a skinny charter. They're changing all 3 fucking branches. So they're making 70 different amendments. So this is their own personal fucking charter, right? Their own private charter, and then they're throwing it at us by ballot question, which is sneaky as shit. They're making it, legislation turned into constitutional law instead of having a charter convention like they should, which had been proper, and didn't want the public to know what the fuck was going on. They didn't really want the public's input. They had their own ideas of what kind of government they wanted to change this, current form of government into. So, not having an independent judiciary, that's a fucking problem. That's a problem. The mayor can just fire the judge right there. So, the mayor has all these extra fucking powers. The legislature, they get a confirmation, but they don't get the budget. They don't get the hiring and firing. Ultimately, it's the mayor. So, once they confirm, right, the mayor hires the person. They confirm or not confirm, which is the only check they have. It's something. Don't get me wrong, it's something. But there's going to be another mechanism that substantially takes their power away. So that does increase, but there's a bigger, the you're fired mechanism. They can't, right now we can fire the chief executive. They won't be able to fire the chief executive after Strange Mayor. But what I was trying to get to was the checks and balances. It used to be council. Council would have had to fire the municipal judge. It would have taken a majority vote to fire the municipal judge, and then that's how the legislature had a check on the judicial branch. Now the legislature does not have the check on the judicial branch. Now the city council will not be able to kick the judge out, fire the judge. They can confirm, but they can't hire, they can't fire. They could just agree with the mayor's decision. If they disagree with the mayor's decision, hope he picks a different appointment that you like, and hope for fucking breadcrumbs. It's like standing before Judge Judy and just pleading mercy. I'm guilty, Judge Judy, please have mercy. You think she'll show mercy? No. So a major you're fired legislative check on the executive branch is forever eliminated. That's substantial. We can get rid of the city fucking manager right fucking now, today. I guess they couldn't call each other up, but tomorrow, when they have the city council meeting, they could say, okay, by resolution, we fire the city manager in 30 days. Here's the reasons, and then, say la fucking V. Then, pick your Superman. Pick whoever the fuck it is you want to pick. Let's go Louis Quigley. Okay, let's get Louis Quigley in there to be city manager. He was city manager for a while. Let's put him back in there. He was city manager for like 6 or 7 years. He was city manager for, quite a chunk of time. So the legislative branch losing that you're fired legislative check. So they get a confirmation check. So they lose the check over the legislature, but they get a check over the executive with the confirmation powers. So they get confirmation powers, but they lose your fired powers to the executive branch. So if you were to ask me which power would I rather have, could I, just approve of somebody's decision versus outright firing them? Having, outright firing them means you hold the handle. That means you hold all the power. You hold all the marbles. You wear the pants. It's whatever you want. So, I like checks and balances, but by eliminating city council's check on the judicial branch, by putting it under the executive branch, I think that fucking nullifies the judicial branch. That nullifies the judicial branch. The judicial branch isn't independent. It has to be obedient to the executive, and any of these judges will just be selected who the mayor likes. He'll get 4 out of 7 city councilmen of his kiss-ass sycophants to go along with him. And then once they're hired, they're there for life until he fires them, right? Then he has the full power at will. Whenever he just feels like it, right? He could just be in a bad mood one day and just, fire 20 judges. All 20 judges that he just hired, he could just fire them all. And, so that's no judicial branch. That's no judicial branch. And that's a problem. Makes me think the home rule is under attack. We have autonomy here in Pueblo City. Autonomy in Pueblo City because of the 1954 charter. The 1954 charter. I said the 1954 charter. So, yeah. If you don't have a constitutional convention, that's a non-starter. You can change the charter without a constitutional convention. It's a non-starter. It's illegal. You can't do that. Sorry. So anyways, here's an interesting thing I found. By a city employee acting within the course of employment, Section 6.4. There's an addition to Section 6.4. The language is incompatible with the former language, with the language that was in it. So before it says, notice of personal injuries before municipal government shall be liable for damages to a person injured on a street, avenue, alley, sidewalk, public place, or way, or, and then they add this part, by a city employee acting within the course of employment. And then it goes on, you got, a month, or you got a short amount of time to write to the city government saying what the fuck happened. How did you get injured? What were the circumstances, time, day, everything. So, you gotta write a letter if you get injured on the street, avenue, alley, sidewalk, public place, or way, or if a city employee is acting within the course of employment. So during the course of employment, if a city employee happens to attack a member of the public and he can somehow justify it, it's within the course of employment. A street sweeper, if you don't get out of the way of the street sweeper, he punches you into, you get out of the way so he can sweep the streets. The park ranger, if you don't pick up, somebody else's trash that he thought it was your trash, he'll, and sometimes they can deputize. They can deputize these park rangers, be special police officers. But the city employee, this addition, it just seems fucking weird. It's just a weird thing. Why? We're sitting there protecting people by the street, avenue, alley, sidewalk, so shit outside public place or way. Public place could be, the city buildings, any of the city buildings that the city owns, the actual city hall itself. So all the capital products of the government, if you're injured on it, this is what you must do. Now they're adding a human element. Before it was just property. Now they're saying if a city employee happens to injure you, then you also have to write the letter to the city, in the month or week or whatever. It's very vague. They don't actually say this. They say by the, consistent with the laws of Colorado. Well, what fucking are those laws? Why don't you tell? They're not telling us why they're changing all these different changes. This little tiny change, it could very much well be innocent. It could just be, we just, that's the proper method for people who get injured by the city employees to do. Okay, fine. But the city laws or the state laws that you're referencing, why don't you fucking say, by this state law? And then why not also say how long you got? And they eliminated another part. They eliminated all the details. So before, in the 1954 charter, it said that you needed to put the time and the place and the name and the details. Now it just says write the letter to the city, per the laws of the state of Colorado. What the fuck? Why are they cutting out all them details? It's almost like they're forced to tell you what the path is in order to sue them, in order to get recompensated for your injuries. It's like they're forced to have to tell you what the path, this is the proper way, but then they don't want to tell you the whole story. So it's like they just tip you, just give you a little tip what direction to go, and then it's all, up to you. It also feels like they're gutting the home rule autonomy thing. So that I get that feeling all throughout this entire document. All throughout the entire document, they keep reminding us we abide by the U.S. Constitution, we abide by the state of Colorado, they gut out the Charter Convention clause So no more charter conventions for the rest of our lives. And if I was, part of the county, I would want to, Pueblo City to give up their charter convention, to give up their home rule autonomy, and really just dissolve into the county. Why have our own independence? If I was the county, I would want to get Pueblo City, to trick Pueblo City into giving up their sovereignty, to giving up their independence and their freedom and their home rule status, so that way the county would rule supreme. It doesn't have to be like that. In fact, it's a gift. Home rule autonomy is a gift. We can govern our own affairs. We can govern our own affairs here. Home rule autonomy. It's a democracy. We run our city. The people of Pueblo City runs Pueblo City. The gift, 1911 charter, 1954, doubled down and codified it again. Pueblo City is its own city, and we run ourselves here. So that has nothing to do with this part, but that was just, why add that part? By a city employee acting within the course of employment. The only thing I could think about, just pure speculation, but something happened, right? Something happened. A park ranger raped some woman, and they didn't write the letter to the city properly, or they're trying to fucking weasel out of it. Technically, yeah, the rape happened. Technically, they should pay the damages, but you didn't write the letter in the 2 weeks that you were supposed to. That's, in state law. It's buried deep under Code 54-C-497243. You didn't write the letter, so haha. I fucking trumped you on the technicality. Now, even though you got raped and deserve, damages because of a technicality, now you get no justice. So it could be something that's sinister, or something could have happened like that, and they're just preventing it from happening again. So that seems to be my feeling from Section 6.4. By a city employee acting within the course of employment. They added that to the street, the alley, the sidewalk, and also if a city employee happens to shit in his hand and smear it all over your face, you need to write that letter. So park employees can be appointed as special policemen. That's the actual language of it. I feel like I should quote it. I think I did. Didn't I quote it? I feel I didn't. I refreshed this. Anyways, that's the language. I just didn't know that that's of the new and the old one. The 54 and the 2007 new charter. So strong mayor. They do have substantial amount of strong powers. It takes over the judicial branch. It takes over the budget. Essentially, it's the city manager. It just took over all the city managers' positions, and it's elected. That's the gist of it. Okay, so don't it's general. You should be specific. I'm getting into the specific right now. So this is just one exception to the strong mayor thing. Section 314 says that the city manager has the power to furnish bonds with such surety. But under Mayor Strange Love, only the unelected director of finance gets that power, not the mayor. The mayor doesn't have the same power that the city manager has. That the city manager doesn't have the same power that the city manager. Okay, yeah, poorly constructed sentence there. But the point being is that before, the city manager could sign the city's checks, just like the director of finance, the city checks and the bonds. So the loans, sign the city's checks and the loans and the financial shit. But instead, now it's just the director of finance. So the strong mayor doesn't get the same power that the city manager once had. City manager could sign the checks, strong mayor cannot. So that don't sound like a strong mayor. Why limit the strong mayor in that, aspect? Why give the director of finance so much, fucking power over the money? Hell, the power over the money that's like the main power of city government. So by getting a new strange mayor charter, you're eliminating the city manager and all those provisions. There's only two requirements to firing a city manager: a majority vote by the city council. The council shall appoint the city manager for an indefinite term and may remove him by majority vote of its members. Simple majority vote, 4 out of 7, and a 30-day notice. At least 30 days before such removal shall become effective, the council shall, by majority vote of its members, adopt a resolution stating the reasons for his removal. More sexist language, chock full of sexist language all throughout this document. So Gardasar makes 70 amendments. He changes all three branches of government but he doesn't think to change any of the sexist language. Why is it reasons for his removal? Can only city managers be men? Even the city clerk, it says something about he. And it's a simple, just find and replace, right? Make it he/she, or just change it to they, them. So it's a simple find and replace fix, kind of like how they changed the city manager to mayor. Just find where it says he and change it to he/she, Fixed, done. But out of all those changes, out of those 70 amendments, out of, reorganizing the entire form of government, a complete overhaul of the entire government, he didn't think to change any of that sexist language. I just found it, peculiar. It could have been overlooked, but how could you overlook it over and over and over again? And how many women looked at this? How many women, overlooked it too? So I don't know, maybe it's embedded in our culture, so I'm not totally blaming him for it, but it's a major fucking change that needs to be changed, and we're going to change it 70 fucking times, 70 amendments, 70 new amendments to our poor charter. It's a 70, that's a rape, right? That's the rape from hell. Our poor, precious, beloved 1954 charter, our little Marilyn Monroe charter, our little poor, precious, baby girl, little charter, 70 fucking amendments. 70 fucking amendments, gutting out the Charter Convention, and then 69 other fucking changes. That's a rape. That's a rape from hell. So they're raping the shit out of our 1954 charter. And, we already had 22 mayors. We've already had 22 mayors. The first mayor, the one coming up, will be elected to a 5-year Reich. So we could have got rid of the fucking city manager today. Tomorrow at City Council, pass a resolution, get a majority to vote on the resolution. You're fired, city manager. You're gone. Now, we got to scramble and find our new Superman. Who is our, this strange Superman that's going to save the day? We could just hire him. Get City Council in and hire the fucking brand new mayor that you love and adore. So that's fucking huge. The legislative branch could fire the city manager. The legislative branch, because they got the firing power, basically has, all the power. They get to suggest things, and they can't micromanage, but they get, when they've had it, when they're done with the city manager's got to walk. The city manager's got to go as soon as the city council says it's time for them to go. But if Sam Azad becomes mayor, city council's not going to get rid of them. City council won't be able to get rid of Sam Azad for 5 fucking years. It's going to be a 5-year Reich. 5-year tyranny. And we can recall anybody, but we can't, the you're fired mechanism is gone forever. Just like the charter conventions will be gone forever. So we've had 22 mayors. There was 3 depressions. And, nothing was worked. It was all corrupt back then. That's why we got a 1911 charter, because it fucking sucked. The mayoral system fucking sucked. So it won't be the first mayor, it'll be the 23rd mayor. So our 23rd mayor will be elected to a 5-year Reich. The mayor's cabinet language was added to our beloved progressive and revolutionary and precious 1954 charter. Of course, all true blue Puebloans love their charters, the 1911 charter, the 1954 charter, and they dream of writing a brand new charter, i.e. constitutional revolution, every single fucking year. They should have done a charter convention this year, next year, the year after. Vote for a charter. Let's rewrite the fucking rules. Let's make it more fair. Let's increase democracy. There's so many good ideas out there. People, so many smart people out there. We can get so many of the smart people of Pueblo to come together and to rewrite the rules and make this, strengthen our democracy, not make it weaker, get more democracy, not less, to liberate the people, not to oppress. To get democracy, not tyranny. So this mayor cabinet's provision, it's just weird because they say they changed the section, but then they don't mention all of the departments that the 1954 charter mentioned. So are they just adding section 4.6? Is section 4.6 just going to go on top? Is it just going to go top on the thing? How come I don't have the number of it? So, the mayor's cabinet language, I think it's 4.6, but whatever the fucking number of that is, the mayor's cabinet language. So, in the 1954 charter, it says, these are the departments, right here. aviation, finance, fire, health, law, parks, recreation, personnel, police, public works, and purchasing. So that specific statute mentions those 10 things. The mayor's cabinet is mentioned. The language for the mayor's cabinet is mentioned, and the language to combine the departments or to create their own department is included, but the specific departments weren't included. So either one of two things are happening. Either A, the mayor's cabinet is going to be in addition to that section on top of the specific departments, or they're getting rid of all these departments. They are dissolving all these departments, and they're going to reorganize and recreate, re-administrate, redo all the departments completely. This is an overhaul of government. They're changing the entire form of government. So to think that they couldn't dissolve these specific departments, of course they could. Strong mayor implies tyranny, right? So strong arm mayor gets to choose the department heads, gets to hire them. The legislature only confirms them, can't fire them. And then he gets to form the departments as he sees fit. He's got to get them to go along with them. So it's probably best for the mayor to try to get along with city council as best as possible, but it's not necessary. Now, then the ballot language, there's actually 5 more departments, including the 10 that was listed in the 1954 charter, that aren't listed in either charter. So planning and community, housing and citizen services, wastewater, stormwater, and information technology. They probably passed an ordinance or some shit a long time ago, but they didn't put it into the Constitution. So in a way, those 5 departments are illegal. They don't have constitutional authority. They don't have the charter authority. And we do have constitutional standing because we're a home rule city, so therefore we have the state power. Colorado ceded their state power to Pueblo. That's our constitutional standing. That's our constitutional authority. So, housing and citizen services, wastewater, stormwater, information technology, planning and community, those aren't listed in either charter, but none of these are mentioned in Strange Mayor. So, I would like some clarification here. You hope for the best, expect the worst, right? So, I hope that he's saying that the mayor's cabinet is in addition to these 10 departments, because I like having well-defined specific departments. This is what the charter says the departments of this city is going to be. So these are the 10 departments. Nice round number, 10, right? And so there's 5 additional departments. Why not list all 15 of them specifically? And if you have to change the departments, then you have to get an amendment. But they're changing this shit, so it's not clear to me. And I wouldn't believe their verbal fucking words. So I think just by what they've written here, it's not clear. It's not clear, and it's vague, and it could go one way or another. Either the mayor's cabinet language can supersede the 1954 charter language, so therefore all these 10 specific departments are dissolved, or they could, meld them together. They could meld them together, say the mayor's cabinet is involved of these departments, and then list those departments. But without that promise, without them mentioning it, and if it's not in writing, it's hard to believe what the fuck anybody will actually say. So it's not clear, and I think that's a problem. So I actually want to see what. Let's see. I say it's not clear. It's a problem. The mayor's, the cabinet. So the mayoral cabinet. I think it's just the departments. I can see it going one or of either way, so I'll have to come back to that one. But yeah, since it's not clear, what the fuck is going on with this mayor's cabinet thing here? Right here's 15 departments listed in the ballot language. Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. Section 4.6. Yeah, I was right about that. So Section 4.6. It looks like it eliminates all the departments, or if the section is just being added on top of it. So here's the 1954 Charter, Section 4.6, and it says just this one fucking long, run-on sentence. There shall be the following departments: aviation, finance, fire, health, law, parks, recreation, personnel, police, public works, purchasing, and all such others may be established by ordinance upon the recommendation of the city manager. So again, by ordinance, the city manager recommends it, city council passes it by ordinance, and then, they all sign the damn thing. So that's what the 1954 charter says. That's what Section 4 of the 1954 charter says. They list all those, 10 departments. Now, the mayor's cabinet, under the changes of the strange mayor, it says this and only this. This is how we're going to change Section 4.6, administrative departments, mayor's cabinet. The mayor's cabinet shall be composed of the directors of the departments, and such other departments may be established by ordinance upon the recommendation of the mayor. So the mayor's cabinet shall be composed of the directors of departments. Of what fucking departments? The ones that we just mentioned, the 5 other extra ones that, has been added on to, the city government without changing the charter. So they don't mention them specifically. They don't mention all 10 of the departments specifically. So that leads me to believe that this leaves them the option to dissolve all 10 departments and just make it 2 departments, right? Fucking mayor department, deputy mayor department. Fucking crack and prostitution department for Stapleton. Get the Stapleton department in there for the new, the crack and the prostitutes that are coming. If he gets elected. He's a libertarian. So, mayor's cabinet. Because Section 4.6 only mentions this one sentence. Right? There's only one sentence from above, and then there's only one sentence from below. So do they add this sentence onto the other sentence and there's 2 sentences, or does this sentence replace the other sentence? It's not clear. It opens up the door for them to dissolve all the departments. So, whether that was intentional or not, it's an oversight and it can be abused, just like that loophole. Mayor can be non-consecutive, unlimited non-consecutive terms. As many unlimited non-consecutive terms as the person could ever imagine. So that's mayor's cabinet. Then let's see. I told you about all the departments and how I thought about them. Now here's 5 changes that were not made in this thing. So those are the changes that I found. So let's see. There's no Bill of Rights. There's no ombudsman. There's no Citizens Oversight and Complaint Board. There's no instant runoff voting. I mentioned that before, but let's see. No popular democracy. Popular democracy wouldn't just require the mayor to be elected, but everybody. The police chief. They changed 70 different changes, but they're not going to make the police chief an elected position. We vote for the sheriff. Who's more powerful than the sheriff can arrest the executive. And then Dennis Mays actually says that the executive can't arrest the sheriff. So that means the sheriff, the executive, only has soft power, but the sheriff has hard fascist power. So that would make him the top dog. He's the top violent dog. He's got the monopoly of violence. State power implies you got a monopoly of violence. And unless you got a sycophant, a little army of cops that kiss your ass and do as the fuck as you tell them. Then, the police and fire chiefs, they all should be elected. You believe in popular democracy? Elect the police chief. You believe in popular democracy? Elect the fire chief. Don't just elect the mayor, elect all these executive directors, the finance chief, the health czar, the law king, the parks and recreation president, personnel executive director, aviation queen, mayor, public works leader, purchasing head motivator, superintendent, planning and community god, housing and citizen services quarterback, judge, waste, water attorney, general governor, stormwater district attorney, and of course the heavyweight information technology champion of the world. We should vote for the heavyweight information technology champion of the world. We should have the executive director. We should vote for the executive director of information technology. I guarantee you the average Poloan does not know who the executive director is for any of these departments. We're supposed to vote for the water board. We're supposed to vote for the civil service board. I bet you the average Poloan doesn't know who's the executive directors for the water and civil service board, let alone the law department. Does the law department help me? Probably not. It's not an elected position. Does any of these departments help me? Maybe indirectly, but, if they're popularly elected, they would be held accountable to the people. These people are pretending that they believe in popular democracy. That's why we're getting this mayoral system. But actually, this is a career for Nick Gardasar for the rest of Nick Gardasar's life. He's going to be asked to interpret what the fuck pile of words. What the fuck did your pile of words mean? You wrote this pile of words, 70 amendments, 10-page document. You just said it was a strong mayor amendment, but really it just went on and on and on, and it's 10 pages. So it changes 70 different, sections. And I don't think that it's been fully thought through. I don't think it's been fully vetted. I don't think it's been fully challenged. And, I bet you if I could work with Nick Gardasar, if there was a charter convention, I have a lot of good ideas that I would like to put into let's elect a police chief. We're going to change the charter fucking substantially. We're going to rape the shit out of the charter, but we're not going to change the sexist language, and we're not going to get a popularly elected police chief. And I want all the chiefs, right? The information technology, that's all I did. I just changed chiefs' names. These are all different, executives. But housing and citizen services, we need the vote for the planning and community. God, what the fuck does planning and community do? Planning and community. Is that like our zoning board? And the county's got a zoning board? How many fucking redundant departments do we have? And we're not going to fucking consolidate. No. The Republicans were against that shit. In the county, the Republicans in the county were against studying consolidation. Because they hate the fucking city. Which is why should we get them another fucking county jail? They don't even let us use the county jail now. The county treats the city like a bunch of fucking assholes. And it's time for the city to stand up and get some pride. You have some pride in Pueblo City? Then stand up. You have pride in Pueblo City? Tell me about your love for the 1954 Charter. Tell me about your love for our Independence Day. I'm sure you know about April 6, 1954. You're from Pueblo. Of course you know about our Independence Day. Of course you know about our 4th of July. You know about the day we got home rule status. And that was 1954. That's when we got the city manager. We had a commission form of government in 1911. That was when we first got the home rule status. And there's statutes on the law of 1912. So Colorado was changing their state and constitutional statutes in 1912. Well, did Pueblo in 1911 spearhead that movement? We started doing this home rule experiment. And then the state had to catch up, so we were leaders in Pueblo? Yes. In 1911 and 1954, we were progressive champions. We had a whole, that's progressive. To get a new charter, that's a progressive thing. Or it has been. It could be a regressive thing. It could be an anti-revolutionary thing where they gut out the church convention. Where they rip out Marilyn Monroe's heart and just, put it right in front of her. As it keeps on beating and just put it in front of her face as she watches and slowly dies. Like in that Indiana Jones movie that fucking evidently traumatized me. What the fuck? Harrison Ford. So, and then one of the major changes is it's chock full of easily remedied normative sexist and frankly it's misogynistic. Only men can be city clerks. Only men can be police officers. Only men can sue the city for injury. Only men can be the city manager. Give me a fucking break. Women can do all those things. And so that's an easily remedied thing. That's an update. That's some house cleaning that the charter could undergo right now. And hell, if he would have noticed that, he could just say that he was making it, more equal. Make it more fair to this, that's a good thing. Spearhead it with that. But overall, Strange Mayor is fucking superfluous. We got a strong chief executive replacing a strong chief executive with another strong chief executive doesn't change shit. It doesn't change shit. City council still doesn't have the power of the budget. City council still doesn't have the power to hire or fire anybody. And they can't fire the chief executive anymore. And they don't have a check over the legislative branch. They have breadcrumbs. They've always been cunts. They got the confirmation power now, so they're getting a little breadcrumbs. But they lost their check over the executive branch, and they lost their check, their major check, your fired check, over the executive branch, and then they lost their your fired check over the judicial branch. Who the fuck is going to run for city council and be like, yes, I want no power over the judicial or the executive branch. Strange mayor all the way. I'll tell you what kind of fucking city council person, candidate would say that. A dumb motherfucker. A stupid motherfucker. A person that's trying to conform and say, well, I kind of know what's going on. Strong mayor, yeah, I understand those words. It means it's a mayor who's strong. And why would I want a mayor who's not strong? What would you want? A weak mayor? A weak little baby mayor? Huh? A weak little baby mayor with little tiny arms? Little tiny hands? Like tiny hands? Strong Mayor is a 10-page fucking document, 70 different goddamn amendments. It's a paragraph long ballot question. And even that's not even consistent. They had 15 departments that they listed in the ballot question, but they didn't even list 5 of the departments. They actually eliminated, it looks to me like they eliminated all the departments. So that's tricky as fuck, right? Here's the 15 departments you won't get. Here's the 15 departments we're going to dissolve as soon as you vote for this. So, the problem, we have poverty. Well, we got a strong chief executive. Maybe we should have another strong chief executive. I need a T there. So instead of tyranny and slavery, what Pueblo City should consider trying is democracy and liberation. Exactly. So, that's the 14 things. I guess I go through them specifically. How long has this been? I don't mind. I'm actually having a good time here. So, it's 40 minutes already. Let's do another 20 minutes or so. I think I'll be alright. Don't you? You all having a good time? So, April 4th. Oh, it's not April 4th. It's April 6th. Damn it. Oops. So, I'm not exactly FDR. But, 3 years ago, Pueblo City constructed herself a charter. A constitutional contract with her inhabitants of the city which promised to always love and protect the good citizens of Pueblo City. Always and forever through the powerful home rule mechanism, giving Pueblo City lots of freedom, independence, and autonomy to govern her own affairs. I'm going to sign off now. I'll do a different one where I go through the details. But that's an overview. That's what I found out. So, did you know that? Huh?